It is truly a pleasure to have this opportunity to report to you on TTCSI's remarkable and dare I say, highly ambitious work program, which we have successfully executed since September 2021. As an alliance of professional services associations and organizations, the TTCSI serves as a focal entity addressing and actively advocating for trade in services issues and the development of services industries. These are crucial factors for the prosperity of our sector in today's highly competitive global environment and for fostering sustainable growth within our economy. To ensure we remain relevant and at the forefront of innovation, especially considering that key business support organizations are members of the TTCSI, it is imperative that we provide hybrid services that enhance the work of our members. With this vision in mind, our strategic focus has been meticulously formulated and executed. Our first task was to undertake a comprehensive analysis of the state of play of the services sector in Trinidad and Tobago. One of the key obstacles impeding decision-making for the sector was the lack of trade in services data. We accepted this challenge, and the provision of statistics has been the core guiding principle of everything that we have embarked on thus far. We were led to conduct a National Services Exporters Survey in 2019-2020, the overall objective of which was to assess the state of play for existing services exporters and those who were contemplating exporting. The intention was to provide updated sectorial services export data, focusing on evaluating the value and modes of exports, key export markets, demographic profiles, and overall economic performance, which would include but not be limited to employment and value-added contribution. We intended this information to help us identify opportunities for building the global competitiveness of services providers and firms, which would have strategic and policy-related implications at both the private and public sector level. We also intend that this research would be used to facilitate B2B networking opportunities for individuals, firms, and potential investors. I am pleased to report that thus far, 2 editions of the National Services Exporters Surveys have been completed. At present, we are collaborating with the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago to develop a services index, which means the NSES will be conducted on a biannual basis. Work is also in train with the LOCJAC GSB to reintroduce the Corporate Confidence Index. The NSES led to the establishment of one of this country's game changers, the National Services Exporters Portal. At the launch of the NSEP in September 2022, Minister Paula Gopi-Skoon noted, and I quote, "Together, these 2 initiatives will contribute greatly to the overall development of the sector by alleviating some of our challenges as it relates to the collection of data in services, enhancing our ability to make data-driven policy decisions, increasing competitiveness, and guaranteeing a more resilient and sustainable industry." Minister Gopi-Skoon elaborated further, noting that the completion of the National Services Exporters Survey 2022 represents the second time in a 3-year period that the TTCSI has been able to successfully capture the performance of services in Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, let's shift our attention to the screen to learn more about the NSEP.
Looking for service providers? Data on business trends? Opportunities for exporting your service globally? Then join or access the National Services Exporters Portal of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries. The NSEP Local Services Hub works to position, brand, market, and promote Trinidad and Tobago for our alliance of professional services associations and organizations. Members receive advice on international markets, help developing market entry strategies, participate in trade workshops, and review in-depth market reports. We encourage joint marketing efforts to help reduce export costs, promote e-commerce practices, the use of new digital media, and so much more. As a member of the public, you can have access to disaggregated services data, view prepared and customizable visualizations of services data, and access up-to-date statistics on the services sectors. Registered firms and associations can access business-to-business opportunities, export capacity building training, reports on penetrating international markets, and notifications on calls for proposals at home and abroad. So, don't wait. Go to nsep.ttcsi.org and register your service. Find your tribe and take your business globally with NSEP and TTCSI.
As of today, there are just under 500 firms registered on the portal. Our goal is 1,500 closed by the close of this fiscal. Ladies and gentlemen, in just under 3 years, the TTCSI has unveiled 2 innovative solutions with the potential to revive the Trinidad and Tobago status as an international services hub, thanks to their cutting-edge data analytics capabilities. The second development is the Gateway to Trade Export Accelerator Program, which has already helped 22 firms across 4 subsectors: business and professional services, energy services, ICT, and business and events tourism, to significantly enhance their export capacity. Together, these game changers represent a bold step forward for the region's services industry and offer exciting new possibilities for growth and innovation. Once again, I ask you to shift your attention to the screen to learn more about the Gateway to Trade Export Accelerator Program.
For 9 months, between September 2021 and May 2022, 80 firms embarked on a special journey. The Gateway to Trade G2T Trinidad and Tobago Accelerator Export Readiness Program for SMEs, administered by the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries, TTCSI. The selected firms came from those subsectors that demonstrated the greatest potential for generating export earnings, namely business and events tourism services, business and professional services, energy services, and information and communications technology services. By the end of this journey, only 22 of them would make it through the rigorous program, becoming the vanguard in this country's thrust for economic diversification. Of the 22 successful firms in this first G2T cohort, 12 of them are very small, even tiny, comprising 10 or fewer persons, with many of them one-person operations. It is the TTCSI's intention to create a cadre of globally competitive services firms. Let us hear their stories as they expand their reach globally.
I am Alison Dimas. I'm the CEO and founder of Media Insight Limited.
My name is Kato Smith, and the name of my business is Twixalot Software Solutions.
Alison and Keita are 2 of the 22 graduates in the first cohort of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries Gateway to Trade Accelerator Export Readiness Program for small and medium enterprises. TTCSI President Mark Edgell explains the intention of the initiative.
The overall objective of this campaign is to nurture and develop services sector firms that have the capacity to export. Our goal is to provide the services sector with the tools to inculcate an exporter's mindset, thereby enabling our members to grow and expand their businesses regionally and internationally. This is what the Gateway to Trade journey is all about.
The journey began with a 2019 survey of national and potential exporters. TTCSI's Chief Executive Officer, Vashti Guyadeen, says 6 subsectors were identified with the most potential for export. However, the program was customized with a more manageable number of subsectors.
For the first cohort of Gateway to Trade, we couldn't tackle all 6 sectors because, again, based on the Canadian team, they have not done such a wide cross-section of sectors. So we picked the 4 subsectors that, again, with the data that show the most potential, and those were business and events tourism, business and professional services, energy services, and ICT.
The Gateway to Trade program started with 80 companies in the selected 4 sectors. For those who stayed the course, the benefits are already accruing.
The tangible benefits are taking a more strategic look at marketing, because to do exports, of course, you have to be really solid when it comes to your marketing. Redeveloping and strengthening like our website, as well as really coming up with a unique value proposition and being able to really fine-tune exactly what services are on offer.
And I think the Gateway to Trade program provided and filled in a lot of blanks and now provides a template with which the company can move on to other territories as well, which I think is a key takeaway, a real tangible benefit, as it were, to participating in this program. And of course, there was no cost to the participants other than the will to do it and the time invested in it.
The website, I see that as a tangible asset that came out of it. My website has since improved, my social media has improved, and my content creation in terms of infographics and so forth, that has improved. I'm an introvert, so it's usually very difficult for me to form connections and, get new work. But I pushed myself, I went out there, and through the Gateway to Trade program and also through a few other conferences, I've been able to network with people who are in a similar field or with people who are not in a similar field but are looking for my services. And I was glad that they taught me how to navigate that space, because I did not have any experience in that before. I really genuinely just like to stay in my house.
Ms. Guyadeen gave some insight on the course construction.
9 full weeks of training on a weekly basis. So whereby they had 2 hours of training per week. That turned out to maybe being about 4 to 5 hours, because you have homework, you had assignments, they met with their teams. For 2 days, we held a market connections activity where we were preparing them to go to market. There was sessions from the Exim Bank, from Export TT, as well as this provided them with the opportunity to network and as well as to learn about each other's business.
I think the modes by which one can export services stood out for me, because the key question was, how do you export this service? How do you go to a Guyana or go to some other territory and do this? What the program did is added a lot more context as well. So we would know that we would have mode 2, which would be setting up an office. And then there would be others where you might go in with a person who is manufacturing, which I think is mode 5. So you can offer a service in addition to the product. And then there were things like intellectual property, which was huge. And then they talked about pricing and so on. So it's a few elements. Well,
the things that they taught me, I was able to apply in my real world activities. For instance, there's SWOT analysis. When you're starting a new business, you don't think about a lot of these things. You just kind of go and you're working, but they really help you to sit down and think about your business, things that you wouldn't usually come up with. So things you don't know that you should have known, and things that you kind of just put to the back of your mind and you don't think about until it's too late.
So those who are looking to export services, I would definitely recommend Gateway to Trade program.
primary goal is to cultivate a group of 100 globally competitive services exporters by the year 2030. Another significant milestone in our quest to attain this goal was the introduction of an e-catalog featuring the first cohort of 22 certified services exporters. In addition to services exporters, considerable emphasis has been placed on developing a pool of local trainers, ensuring the long-term sustainability of the program beyond 2025. These certified trainers, if you go back to these certified trainers, play a crucial role in equipping future exporters with the necessary skills and knowledge. To gain more insights into the 22 firms, you can access the catalog by scanning the QR code on your program. It's the black code. Please note the catalog is a comprehensive document and may take a few minutes to load due to its size. However, I strongly recommend and encourage you to explore this valuable resource as it offers information on the priority markets of the G2T firms, along with the interviews conducted with diplomats and experts from the respective countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I trust that you are not weary, for we have been working non-stop at the TTCSI to secure a sustainable future for our services firms and entrepreneurs. I have even more to report. I am delighted to provide you with an exclusive glimpse behind the scenes of our Doing Business with the World series. Over the past 4 years, we at the TTCSI have been committed to nurturing a cohort of services exporters and firms who truly can stand tall on the international stage. However, it soon became evident that a crucial ingredient was missing, even as we relentlessly pursued this goal. Our exhaustive research efforts homed in on the very barriers impeding the scaling of TNT's services to regional and global eminence. Among those we uncovered: 1, inadequate understanding of marketing intangible services. 2, limited marketing capabilities despite proficient technical skills. 3, absence of strategic networks. 4, hurdles in establishing credibility. 5, insufficient knowledge regarding partnership formations. 6, restricted access to market information and intelligence. 7, lengthy process for service contract development. Consequently, we were faced with the following questions. How could the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries facilitate our services exporters with rapid assistance? What action plan could yield a significant impact for services exporters? How could we link services exporters to buyers? What measures should be taken to widen the reach of the 22 certified services exporters who had successfully completed the G2T program? In the midst of the pandemic, a clarity of thought began to emerge. Services firms in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean were in dire need of market intelligence, not just internationally, but regionally as well. This requirement exceeded the regular doing business briefings provided by various BSOs. The pandemic recast the role of intelligence. Pre-pandemic market intelligence gathering was sporadic. Now these firms could not afford the luxury of time, underlying the crucial importance of a well-structured and action-oriented market intelligence strategy. This insight led to the inceptions of TTCSI's Doing Business with the World series. Over a 9-month period, we aim to enlighten the business community across 28 markets with relevant, market-specific intelligence. Renowned industry leaders, ambassadors, and government officials already have begun and will continue to share crucial insights about their respective markets, facilitating a platform to strengthen trade relations without physical border crossing. This epitomizes the value of investing in services. The International Trade Center Global Trade Outlook 2023 noted that the future of trade is services. Additionally, the World Trade Organization highlighted the fourfold increase in the value of globally exported, digitally delivered services since 2005, reaching US $3.8 trillion in 2022. This indicates enormous potential for the Caribbean, provided we establish the right mechanism to foster services industries. This is where the TTCSI steps in. Through our Doing Business with the World series, we do more than provide information. We leverage our National Services Exporters Portal, which has evolved into an international services hub to connect buyers and sellers. Interactions occur real-time through this online portal, eliminated time zone differences. In building a nation of exporters, we believe it is essential to embrace the culture and cuisine of your priority markets. That's why we are placing emphasis on learning, tasting, and experiencing the culture and cuisine of the 28 countries in focus. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have outlined for you today, TTCSI's approach is deliberate, strategic, and holistic, with a clear recognition that collective effort is critical in successfully attaining our goal. The sustainability of the local services sector, peopled with and populated by firms and entrepreneurs capable of competing successfully on the global stage. That said, we at TTCSI invite you to join us on this incredible journey as we transform our local services sector and by extension, play our part in ensuring the resilience of the Trinidad and Tobago economy. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I formally launch the Doing Business with the World series.